Hello and welcome to the Life and Fight of a podcast. I'm Jake Cross and I'm joined today by professional MMA flyweight in Alex Valyandis. How's it going, Alex?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, pal. I'm good. Thank you very much. Just
I
saying,
spoke
off,
to you ages. When was the last time me and you spoke?
I don't know, but maybe
Back in June.
June, yeah.
Which UKFC was that? June
10.
29th.
Yeah, 10. So, yeah, nearly a year now, which is obviously a lot's changed in a year, including
Yeah,
your hair.
definitely. You need to shave yours off now.
No, never. I've got another year in this at least before I start receding even more from the stress. What made you shave it off then?
Just got rid of it, mate. All the barbers are shut, so it's just like, might as well. Not getting to get it on yours.
Fair enough. So,
What are you actually trying to do?
just grow it long for the only time I'll probably be able to do it in my life, and then once it's gone, it'll probably never grow back. I'll probably have the same as you for the rest of my life. Well, introduce yourself for the people that are listening and watching. So, Alex Valyandis, you're 27 years old. You're now a professional flyweight, 5-1 record. You had a 6-2 amateur career, which we'll touch on shortly. Within your career, you won the ISFC flyweight title, and you defended it twice after that. Was that right?
Well, yeah, twice. You don't include the first time, are you?
Yeah, you won and defended, so 3 title fights in the amateur career. So let's start at the beginning then. What got you into the sport?
I remember back in like 2011 when me and my friends were grappling, and I was always interested in it. Me and my cousin used to watch a bit of it, and when me and my friends would grapple, and I'd be the smallest one, the only one that could get better of me was this bigger guy. And I always wanted to do it to be able to get, how do I say, just basically to learn, maybe like a small man syndrome. I don't know. There was a lot of things that got me into it, but I remember watching Uriah Faber back in 2012, and I was like, I could actually do this. Just a lot of things that pulled me into it. It was strange. A lot of things. It wasn't like one particular thing.
So, obviously, Uriah Faber in the UFC in 2012, that was just after the transition of when they absorbed WEC.
With Dominic Cruz fight back then, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that's when they absorbed all the smaller fighters, so that featherweight downwards to flyweight. So that's really a good time.
Then, they didn't have flyweight, did they?
No, there was no flyweight. I think came into it in 2012. I think that's when the tournament started. Anyway,
Johnson and Benavidez in the final, wasn't it?
Yes. So that took a bit longer than normal. So obviously, back when you was watching, that was probably the best time to watch it because you've seen these smaller fighters and you thought it's not just these heavyweights.
It's the perfect time because flyweight was never popular, but it was starting to get popular.
Yes.
So, I mean, it never got like the other things, but it actually got introduced into UFC.
So back then, you thought, "Oh, I'm game for this." Where did you find where you trained at IPC Wrexham under Aaron and John Abbey? Did you find that straight away, or was it somewhere else first?
No, it was there straight away. I went to, they had another place up in Bradley, which is close to IPC. I went there like 2-3 times, stopped for a year, was doing a bit of boxing, and then just went straight to IPC. Straight into it.
Did you find straight away that obviously your head coach in Aaron, small flyweight as well?
Oh, that was perfect, yeah.
Perfect fit for you. And obviously, you're now both pros. You've both got a great pro record. But what was it like back, obviously, 8-9 years ago when you did start and you're both sort of still learning? What was it like sort of building the team around you both? Because obviously you are the front runners, you are the professional fighters within the team. What's it been like taking that journey with Aaron?
It's been good. Like you said, it's been the same way. It's perfect to train together, etc. And not only that, our gym in general is quite a small gym. And not everyone that goes there is dedicated. You got someone like Aaron as well, such a motivator, someone to look up to. So it's been good.
So when you were training, what made you your first thought, right, I'm going to step into the cage now? I think I'm trained, right? My coach is thinking ready.
Straight away.
You wanted in straight away?
From the day I started training, I said to Aaron, I wanted to get into it. Me and him started to do private classes 3 times a week. Wow. Doing another 3 classes, just straight into it.
So debut was, what date are we on now? Nearly 6 years ago this month in a couple of days. So
7 years ago my debut was.
2014, it says on here?
No, October 19th.
Ah, right, okay.
The Titan Championships, Calvinshire.
So October 30. Ah, sorry, yeah. It's got rid of it for some reason. I can see at the bottom here. So Jake McClellan.
What are you on, Tapology?
Yeah, it's at the bottom, but I was floating around
okay.
it. So
Couldn't scroll down.
yeah, Jake McClellan. That was October 13th. How did you prep for that? What was it like stepping into the cage for the first time?
Same as always, just dedicated 100%. And that was a perfect first fight because that one fight of the night. But me watching back on that, like you see so many mistakes. Me watching back on any fight, you see mistakes. Anything you do in your life, you're not going to be 100% satisfied. And if you are, well, it's not a bad thing to be. But most people, when you look at something, you can see the flaws in your own performances in anything.
So coming after that win, you've looked back, you see the flaws in your performance, you get straight back in there. Well, within 6 months, obviously Christmas always gets in the way, that sort of thing. So you're back in there. Tom Murray, first round TKO. So after coming back from a fight of the night performance and then a quick victory, what was the difference in mentality like? Was you happy to get out in and out, or did you want another sort of fight of the night?
I knew I was going to get a fight of the night with Tom Murray, with all due respect. So when you come up against an independent fighter, you ask any fighter, there's always pressure that you have to finish it first. Not you have to, but you don't train all that time to come up against someone who's just stepping in.
Yeah.
So me ending in the first round, it was sort of expected. But I was excited about that because it was only my second fight. Whereas me coming up against independent fighters now in my pro career,
frustrating.
It's nowhere near satisfying because obviously you want to fight people that are going to test you.
I guess that's one question that's good to ask. You find this at the lower weights, especially at your weight, and maybe even at the heavyweight end. So everything in the middle, there's vast amount of fighters, but the heavyweight end, especially at the flyweight, and Aaron's had this problem as well, and Steve Nightingale. You train all this time, and then someone pulls out. Could be you, could be them, whatever. Then to find a replacement at that weight, especially when you guys, it's not easy. So what goes through your mindset of? At the start of a training camp, you've got an opponent, and then in the back of your mind still it's like, well, I've had opponents pull out before. It's hard to get a replacement. How do you keep mentally high on that?
I think my last 5 opponents have pulled out. So it comes to a point that I don't expect it, but you just get on with it. You know what I mean? You do your training camp, and then from there, you can't control it. So it's annoying, but what can you do?
Yeah, I think... I know working with you for years, you've got the mentality of you'll fight anyone. You could put the best in the world or the worst in the world. Obviously, you don't want the worst in the world, but you could put any spectrum on it. You've trained to fight. Let's get in there. Let's fight. And your amateur career, it's studied now. If you look back then, you're all amateurs. But looking back now, you after Tom Murray, you go back to back on losses, but amateur you learn to learn. You go John Shink and Joe Young. What was that like to face? Obviously, in hindsight now, especially John Shink, great professional fighter just like yourself. What were them 2 back-to-back fights like for you mentally, and what did you learn?
Well, the 2 losses back-to-back were obviously it's gonna kick your confidence back. Of course it is, but like even the John Shink fight, like I lost that. People say the people closely like, oh no, you won the second round. Like, watch the fight. Didn't win the second round at all. What are you talking about? Where people who are close to you always try and give you these little confidence boosters, but you just got to be honest with yourself. The Joe Young one was more devastating because I felt like I was winning that fight. And I even got on the floor at one point and I was goating him in, and then I got choked out like a fucking idiot. But there was a knock on my confidence, but my confidence definitely grew after them fights because it was just win after win from there.
Yeah, so 2-2 at the end of 2014. So you've been competing for a year in MMA, fighting in the cage. You're 2-2. You fought great in John Shink and Joe Young already, but like you say, you came off the back of Joe thinking you were winning that fight. You got caught. Let's move on. So next up is Warren Mason, which was one of the...
Well, yeah, I completely forgot about that. I thought it was Jake Fond after that.
Yeah, it was one of the most active amateur fighters that I know of, especially at that weight. So you go in, June 2015, Engage FC, first round armbar, 2 minutes 34. What was it like coming off that the last loss of Joe, stepping into the Warren fight?
Oh yeah, I was buzzing off that win because coming off them 2 losses to win, especially after every fight for me, it's like a surreal moment because win, lose or draw, I get really nervous before fights. A lot of people will not admit that. A lot of people will have this mindset of, oh, you shouldn't get nervous. I don't get nervous before fights. blah, blah, blah. But it's not a bad thing to get nervous. If you're nervous about something, it means something to you. If you didn't care about something, then you don't care about the result. So winning that after them 2 losses was big to me.
I think nerves keeps you on your toes, keeps you reactive.
Keeps you sharp.
Yeah, keeps you sharp. That's one thing I struggled with when I did compete. I didn't get nervous, and it wasn't because I don't get nervous. I just didn't feel it. So when I got in there, it was never that fire. It was just through the motions.
Important, that fire, because even though they're nerves, it's weird. Like I'll be warming up in the back with Aaron, and you start to feel like a bit fatigued, but that's just the adrenaline kicking in.
Of course it is. So after Warren,
what did you used to compete in jiu-jitsu?
Pardon?
What did you used to compete in?
Oh no, I did 7 in the cage. My last fight was before your first fight, 2012. I last fought.
Oh, I thought you were going to say before my last fight. I was going to say you haven't been.
No. I've not been active for a long time. No, my last
main
fight was...
event for UKFC next.
I'll pass. There's a lot better fighters that deserve.
Did you actually enjoy it though? Did you enjoy it when you were doing it? When you were fighting?
I enjoyed keeping busy. It was it sounds daft, like a bit like the nerves. It was never about winning for me. I just liked keeping active. I enjoyed doing it. I'm
similar to that. Yeah.
I never thought I was great. I just enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed having a team around me. I love training. And the fire has died down, but it's just one of them. I enjoy doing what I do now.
Winning's important as well, though, because one, it builds your confidence, and no one can ever tell you what to do. Like, I would never want my family to turn around and say, I don't want you to fight, etc. But if you've been knocked out back to back to back, because fighting's not like any other sport, you know what I mean? It's actually dangerous if you're getting hurt constantly to carry on.
No, you're completely right. I feel like you should fight for as long as you can, but if you're coming off bad losses, you should rethink your career a lot.
The fighters, because they're fighters, they'll carry on when they shouldn't. You should still be smart about it, because you're still getting hit in the head. It's not exactly sprinting.
I feel that's when you find boxers that come off a couple of losses that go, well, it's the end of the career. And it's, if you compare it to MMA, like you've got, like, say, Donald Cerrone, who's had amount of losses, but he's probably still one of the best in the world. But boxing, you've had 2 or 3 losses, it's game over. But I think boxing is more dangerous. The fact that it's just constantly hitting the head. In MMA, it's so variable that you say, you submission wins, submission losses.
People, when they watch MMA, because they see the kicks, the knees, and all this, they think it's more dangerous. When in actual fact, boxing's a lot more dangerous, because the worst part of a combat sport is when you're concussed and when you carry on. Whereas MMA, if you're concussed, that's over. You can go and relax for a year if you want. Go and rest up, recuperate. Whereas in boxing, how many fights you see where they're like stood up 6, 7, 8 times when they're concussed?
It is ridiculous, and also the concussion rate you can see at the minute. Obviously, we've had a few deaths in boxing in the last few years, and it seems to be on the increase. So it's something to watch out for, especially MMA as well. So after Warren 3-2, then you face Jake Bond, great amateur. He's in the pro ranks now as well. That's ISFC. That's for the belt at ISFC, the Flyweight Championship. What was it like getting another victory and winning your first belt?
That fight meant a lot to me, not just because of the belt, because even before I started fighting, I'd watch videos of Jake Bond. I just didn't really like him, like his demeanour and that, the way he'd look at his opponents, the way after he'd win, the way he'd handle it. And I remember my teammate, James Cox, coming in saying something about how he was rude to someone. He seen my opponent being rude to someone. And for that fight, I got into before it started, it's like a weird zone, like I can't remember hardly anything of it. You know, when your adrenaline's that high.
Yeah.
But I ended up beating the shit out of him, so it must have worked. People handle stress differently. Do you know what I mean? Like, you get someone else in a situation where they're really... Because I was scared for that fight. I'd go as far as saying scared. Like, wow. That was one that I was the most scared of. But I couldn't admit that with no insecurity, because look at the way I performed. Just because you're scared doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Of course. So Jake got your blood boiling. Obviously, you've seen him before you started competing, and then you. But
now we're all right. I've seen him on one of the grappling comps. I've seen him at Empire, etc. I'm not going to be. Do you know what I mean? Once a fight's over, it's over. You're not going to carry on.
Yeah, you have that respect. A lot of fighters have that respect. It's very rare that the sort of animosity or anything like that still carries on. But beating someone like Jake, especially for your first belt, is a great accomplishment. So you're now ISFC amateur flyweight champion. That's September 2015. They call you back for a title defense. That's December that year against another guy, one of the best amateurs at flyweight like yourself. Now he's in the pro ranks in Liam Gittins. What was it like, obviously, because he's coming up there, you're 4-2, he's 3-0. What did you know about Liam at that point?
I actually knew I fought against Liam before in Thai boxing.
Wow.
It was 5 rounds, went to decision and beat me at that. So it was nice to fight in my own sport. But he was only a kid back then. I'd be interested to see if we fought now. But just because even though he was only 3-0, he was making waves at that point.
Yeah.
And look at him now.
He's I think he's still flyweight. I don't think he stepped up on cage weights now.
He stepped up now. He fought who's Carl Prince's lad? The guy from Denmark.
Oh yeah, I'll get it up now. So Jonas Magard.
Jonas Magard, that's it.
That was yeah. So he stepped up to bantamweight now.
I don't think he can make that cut anymore.
So great title defense. 2015 ends. Reigning, defending ISFC champion, and then you go to April 2016. You face Mark Williams, another title defense on ice. Your hometown. What was that like? Do you think that was added pressure because of the hometown?
The fight was in April, and the January, just shadow boxing, I got a back injury. Still to this day, because if you get a back injury, I don't think that ever leaves you. If you get a bad back injury, I don't know if you've ever had any, but so for the 3 months, I was just sorting that out. Literally, I never trained for that fight. I think I trained maybe 3 sessions the week before the fight.
Wow.
So just getting through that was an accomplishment. Because if it was another fight, if it wasn't in my hometown, I would have cancelled it. But there was no way I was cancelling that if it was in Wrexham, especially a good show like that.
Yeah, I was coming to Wrexham. Was that in D-side as well? Where was that based?
No, that was
no, not D-side. Where was it? Sorry, what location in Wrexham?
Lindor.
All right, okay.
That was the venue anyway.
So you now that's your amateur career. You are that just reminds me. So when you did fight Liam Gittins, I was doing commission at that point. I forgot all about that. Was it that fight? What show was that? Or was that your first pro fight?
ISFC 8, I think that was.
No, 18.
No, 10.
So yeah,
which one are we talking about? Liam Gittins.
So the one that I was at when it's in Bolton. That's your first pro fight, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that was ISFC 18, wasn't it? Yeah.
So
were you working for them then?
I just helping Carl out.
Yeah, I remember you actually. Yeah, when I was walking out.
So Mark Williams is the end of your amateur career. What was going through your head after the Mark Williams fight? That's April 2016. Did you speak to your coaches like Aaron? Did you think it was time to step up, or was it the opportunity came to step up pro? What was your thought process?
Me and Aaron always had it in our heads. We had the discussion that after that fight, we'd focus on going pro. So get better first, improve, and then go pro.
Yeah, amateur there for the experience and for learning.
It was a good time as well. I think it was 23 at the time. It was a good time just to step up then.
Yeah, 6-2. You've had the 8 amateur fights. You literally, as we got going through them names, like your John Shink, your Warren Mason, Jake Bond, Liam Gittins, it's the who's who of the pro ranks now at amateur and bantamweight, especially in Europe and the UK. So let's have a look. So October 2016, ISFC 18, like we just said, pro debut in Bolton at the Reebok Stadium, whatever it's called now. You face Philippe Martins. What was going through your head as a pro, going from the amateur ranks? Is it more nerves because there's a different rule set, or did you train for that rule set all the way anyway? What's going through your head?
No, there was definitely more nerves because it was a different rule set, but also mainly my nerves for that fight were coming from I didn't know anything about the opponent. It's one thing to know you're training for someone and knowing that person's good, or knowing video you can watch, showing footage, etc. But it's another thing when you don't know anything about someone. Yeah,
I guess that's difficult. I'm saying that if you never fought amateur and stepped straight in the pro ranks, you're both 0-0 records. They might struggle to find anything on you. It's the benefit to them, I guess, as well, that they can search you. You've had a great amateur career. That's been a good show that's been recorded. Yeah. So you didn't know anything, but you still did the job. 1 minute, 7 seconds, TKO, round 1. What what's the thought? You've stepped in the pro ranks now. You've got a quick finish. Do you feel like that was just the way as sweet as you thought it was going to be, not as good as you wanted it to be? What's the thought process after that?
No, that was definitely as sweet as I wanted it to be, just because that was my best highlight reel. If you go on Instagram, I think I posted about 10 times. But that was my best highlight reel. But it wasn't as sweet as a victory as Jake Bond, because even though I beat the guy I beat for my pro debut was more impressive, I thought anyway, it didn't mean as much to me. Because it's not just about how you win, it's against who and what it means to you.
That's a good point. So this is sort of where the transition to the pro ranks in UK Fighting Championship happens. So you're on UKFC 3 in March 2017. You had, I think you had about 4 different opponents for your first fight there. Yeah. The amount of changes. Lewis Loftus stepped in last minute, and like we talked about earlier in the chat, last minute opponents are not what you want, but you've trained that much. You step in there and you do the job.
You can't not do it.
And I think from memory, I think we knew that Lewis was a boxer. He preferred to box. So what's your thought process going, thinking, right, it's a big risk for me this fight, but I just need to do the job? Do you want to stand with someone like that to prove a point, or do you want to think, right, I'm not having any of that?
I wasn't really nervous for that fight, I'm going to be honest, because I felt like I was going to go in there and get the job done. If you actually rewatch the fight, I'm in full mount and I get off him. I know I'm on his. No, yeah, I'm in full mount and I get off him just to carry on the fight, which I thought was stupid. But it's strange. You train so much for a fight. It's like you want it to go on longer.
Yeah.
When you
still want to learn in a way. You still want to evolve.
Exactly. Because you only get that time for a short period. You train so much.
Of course. So 2-0 in the pro ranks. Then you're back in UKFC June. It's literally like a rinse and repeat. You've had multiple opponents at your weight, drops out. John Spencer steps in last minute. Another quick victory. But I think, like you said, on the Lewis Loftus fight, you're in a dominant position and you let up just to get more experience. But in this fight, it's as quick as you like. It's literally, you're in there.
Because Aaron was going to kill me. After the last race, I just go in there, get the job done. If I've done the same as I did the last time, because I think the one in March went on, I think, for like 2-3 minutes or whatever, and I was just like, go in there, do the job, end of story. And there's no way that John Spencer was 60 kilos. He was about 90 kilos that day. If you see the photo, I was thinking,
if John Spencer's
bigger than me, he must be shorter. He was taller than me as well.
John Spencer, to get to 90 kilos, I think he'd have to eat himself. I don't think I've ever seen John Spencer that big at 90.
Not 90.
I'm joking. So you're now 3-0. You come back at the end of that year. You won a good fight. You get Kieran O'Brien. So this is a legit now opponent. Someone that's going to test you. Someone that's taller, rangier. Is going to put as much of a fight in there as possible, and is a risk to your pro the loss side. So what's it like going in against someone as tall as Kieran and as rangy?
With Kieran, that was definitely a 500 because, and not only that, I think who did he fight for? But whoever he fights, I think they were 4-0 that night, so they hadn't lost. I didn't know that at the time, but it shows that he's from a good gym.
Yeah, in Kaiser.
Even though he had one loss, his one loss was John Shinks. So John Shinks a good opponent, so it's not exactly.
You think about it, looking back now, someone to take a debut pro fight against John Shink, that's it's cause. It's not asking for trouble, but it's a risky fight, and
it shows someone's game.
Yeah, of course it does. So you step in there. Obviously you're 3-0, he's 0-1, but at that point you're both young in your pro records. Just talk through the fight. The first, obviously, it ended in round 2, but talk about the first and second round. What's going through your head? He's taller, he's rangier.
I felt that first round, I was sort of like rushing thing because you got to think, my last 3 opponents were guys that have just stepped in. So that was the first time in God knows how many years I actually stepped in with a game opponent.
Yeah.
But for the first round, I felt like I was rushing things I wasn't supposed to. But I knew I had to stay on the feet. I didn't want to start panic wrestling or whatever. But I definitely wanted to get to the ground because I didn't want to be striking with someone that was that rangy. Because he's got good kicks, Kieran. I went on his Instagram. I need to stop doing that bit. Before I fight opponents, I'll check them out. I think everyone does. People might not admit it, but they do. And I was seeing some of his kicks. So I was like, I don't want to get caught by one of them. So I was trying to close the range as much as possible, because if we're fighting on the range, it's much more of his advantage. But then the second round, I felt him starting to tire, and just from there, overtook.
So second round,
actually in my corner, this is what the strange. If I would have said I blew my gas tank, definitely not, but because you've got that adrenaline, sometimes you can't see things that your corner can see. So I could just hear Aaron screaming me, and that's when I threw it, which makes you think if he wasn't there, would I have even thrown it? You know, the one that dropped him.
Of course, yeah, this is what I'm saying. So at the end of the second round, there's actually 9 seconds left, obviously a bit earlier than that to get the referee to step in, but Aaron shouts knee, you hit it, finish Kieran O'Brien, end of the second round. I guess that's a lot of relief after not fighting someone that you wanted to fight for so long, so many opponent changes. Then you get a legit guy who's going to trade with you, who's going to cause you trouble, who's going to test your gas tank, test your range, test your ability, and then you get a great finish, a highlight finish like that.
Yeah.
What's going through your head at that point? You're sort of running around the Guildhall, your coaches are in the cage.
Jumping on the cage.
Yeah, what's your thought there?
It felt good. I didn't want that to end early. Not saying I wouldn't have finished it if I could have early. I'm not saying I wanted to score on that long. But the fact that I actually got them minutes in after the last 3 fights felt good.
Like, finishing 1 round of 5 minutes of that was more than the 3 combined fights before that. But
exactly.
Like Aaron said to you after the Lewis Loftus fight, get in there and do the business. You train that hard. If you risk yourself, whether that's physically, mentally, or your career, it's not worth it. Get in there, get out. If you want a war, then sometimes you don't. So when you don't want a war, sometimes you get given a war. And like you see about the Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight recently, she would have rather have had a quick finish rather than that. But I guess
I'd much rather watch that fight than be in it. If I was in that fight, I would like it, obviously, because it's good publicity. But them fights take years off your life.
Yes,
it's good for the people watching. It's not good for the people involved.
That's why people refer it as a prize fighting sport. Don't fight certain fights, or don't fight at all unless you're getting paid, especially at that level. And when you're fighting them elite fighters, and obviously,
imagine having that fight amateur. You wouldn't be having a pro career.
Me and you have seen fights like that amateur, like when Carolina fought, has walked through opponents and damaged opponents, or seen Fight of the Nights at amateur. Where was it? I can't remember if you fought on the same card or not, but James Williams versus Marlon Jones.
No, I was on the same card. Yeah, no, that was a.
It's just fights like that.
They were great fights. Don't get me wrong, but the Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight and what's the.
Zhang Liweng. I always pronounce it wrong.
But that fight was just ridiculous. It was great to watch, don't get me wrong, but
it's did you see her face like 2 weeks after it, just all bruised?
Yeah. Did you see Joanna's face after it, her forehead?
They're like something out of like was it Mars Attacks or something like that, the old 90s film.
Frankenstein.
So you stayed away from them fights to date. Let's hope that carries on. So next up, October 2018. So it's like a 7-month layoff at this point. So you face Edvinas. I'll try and pronounce the second name. Janice Vicious.
Good luck with that.
I think it's Vicious. So 4-0. Great fight coming off Kieran O'Brien. You had a few months off. Do you feel like you recovered, ready to fight again?
I'm just checking the time. It's 11. I'm gonna. It's all right. I can be like. Sorry, say that again.
So you face Edvinas. So what's going through your head now? So you've had a few months off. Great victory. What's going through your head for this one?
I think that was a late step in as well. So it was the same as the others, but like I said, it was sort of like the first pro debut fight because I didn't know anything on him. And his teammate fought one of my teammates, and he was actually really good. And I know that doesn't mean as in just because one person from the team's good, but usually that must mean you got good coaches, you got a good gym, etc. So I thought he could have been a decent. He was a decent opponent. I'm not saying he wasn't, but I felt like he was. When we actually thought he was too small to compete, because my strength compared to his was very different. It'd be like me competing a bantamweight. Yeah, you can compete, but you want to give yourself the best chance when you compete.
Of course. So that's like another dominant victory. You're now 5-0, and that takes to your most recent fight, which was June last year. What we spoke about at the beginning, like the last time we spoke, was against Wilbert Human from Cuba, but obviously he fought out of Spain. It's a strange fight. This, I think, if this was a 5-round fight, I could see you winning that by decision.
Yeah.
But the 3-round fight, I feel like the first round and stuff, the strength of him outdid you. But what's going through your head? Because the third round,
it was just me being stupid for that fight. I just wasn't using my brain. But once again, in uncomfortable situations, you resort to what you're comfortable doing, and in my case, it's grappling.
Yes.
And I'm trying to grapple with someone who feels about 20 kilos heavier than me. It was just me being stupid. Like, I can't blame that loss on anyone but myself, because I should have just struck with him. Because every time I'd strike, I'd get the better of him. So the fact that I was striking to grappling, literally, when I rewatched that fight, like, do you ever remember Conor McGregor on The Ultimate Fighter when he's screaming at that guy, "Stay on your feet, stay on your fucking feet"?
Yes.
I'm watching that of myself screaming that.
So it's the weirdest thing, because I know after the third round, after the fight finished, you were exhausted. You put everything in there to try and change the dynamic of the fight. But the third round, I think everyone scored it for you. Just unanimous decision to the judges. First 2 rounds, Wilbert got the fight. But we all agreed if that was a 5-round fight, Wilbert was fading. You were coming into your own, which sometimes
he was faded after the first round.
That's what I mean.
I give that. It was. Don't get me wrong. He fought a good fight and did what he had to do, and he definitely won 100%. But it was just stupid. Just thinking about that fight annoys me.
I guess
it's good that it's like that,
yes,
instead of you not caring at all.
Of course, I think coming off of something like that, especially it's in the pro ranks, it means more. It fires you, it fuels you. You want to get better. You want to learn your game plans a bit more. And like you say, shouting at the TV, so the recording of the fight, saying, "Why did the fuck you stand up?" I guess that elevates you to your next fight to go, right, I learned off that fight.
And not only that, taking accountability for the loss. Not me trying to say, "Oh, it was Aaron. He should have watched footage that wasn't there," or it was that my team, whatever. If you lose, take accountability for it and then progress from there. You blaming other people doesn't do anything.
Of course. So that brings us up to date. I know you've got work to go to, so we'll quickly wrap this up. So, great amateur career, still a great pro career. You don't care who you fight. You do your job when you're in there. What's next? When are you looking to get back in? Obviously, lockdown aside.
I did want to get in there for June, to be honest, because 2 days before my birthday, I think Cage Warriors are going to, I think it was Cardiff, June 13th.
Something like that. That sounds right.
Yeah, but obviously that's not going to happen. I'm not too sure. Going to wait till this lockdown's over, and then I'm going to see from there.
How are you coping in lockdown as an athlete? How are you doing for training?
Me, I'm every other day I train because I eat properly, because I'm eating plant-based, etc. I don't worry about training every day. I think a lot of people, not just, well, I don't want to say athletes, because you'd like to think the majority of them diet, or eat properly, should I say? I hate the word diet. But I think that a lot of people, you see, I go to the gym like 2 hours a day. They're like trying to outwork a poor diet. Whereas, because I'm eating properly, and I don't want to overtrain, I only train every other day. So usually Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, or Saturday. I usually do a circuit on Saturday. Just been doing a lot of bodyweight stuff. Haven't been training much of MMA, to be honest. I find it boring if I haven't got someone there to train with.
Of course,
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you now and say I'm shadow boxing in my garden for 5 hours straight. But what it's opened my eyes to is how much of a workout you can get with just your body weight.
That's a great point. Is there anything that you enjoy more than anything during lockdown, like bodyweight exercises? Anything that you think, oh, I actually enjoy doing that?
Just bodyweight sessions in general.
Just in general.
I'll definitely carry on doing them, because before that, I knew you could train with just your body weight, but it's really opened my eyes to you can train literally anywhere with just your body. You need nothing else. Whereas loads of people now, like I went on the internet to try and buy weights that would have been like £10-20 before, shot up to like £80, because obviously people know that people are searching.
Supply and demand, yeah, exactly. So apart from bodyweight exercises, what are you doing during your spare time? So I know you're still working and stuff. Is there anything you're doing to keep yourself sane during this lockdown? Like watching, listening to stuff?
The way I see it, people that are locking themselves in the house, and I know it is a lockdown, are going to go fucking insane. I train to burn off that energy that usually would be burnt off through training, IPC obviously, or through work. Well, I'm still working, but we're still animals. People like to think it's in like, oh, because we're humans, we're this. We're still animals. We need to burn off energy, otherwise we're going to go insane. And people that are locking themselves in the house without burning off any, like when I go, like when was it? Monday, I went to train, finished work, went downstairs, trained. I was exhausted the whole day. Made some food or whatever, but apart from that, I was just in my room. I didn't have time to think about it, or didn't want to think about anything else. Whereas if I had that energy built up inside me, that goes on other bullshit. Do you know what I mean? Thinking about this, thinking about that, and then eventually you get depressed.
Because your mind's overworking, because you're not relieving yourself a little bit, or releasing any sort of energy or expenditure. I do bits and bats. I've got multiple things.
You don't train at all, Jake. Don't chat shit to me.
I guess I'm the bonus of that because I own my own jiu-jitsu company. I've got a ridiculous amount of mats, but I don't have anyone to train with. So I guess I utilise them for little bits, and I've got.
Have you been sorting out anything for the shows and that? When the
yeah.
over?
Been doing these podcasts, doing little things, just trying to keep ticking over because there's literally next to nothing you can physically do for an event. You can't go venues, you can't really match mate because no gyms are really there. I'll be working on Empire stuff, sorting all that out. But just keeping up on admin, that's what I find keeps me busy. Yeah, it keeps you mentally stable, I think, anyway.
But that being said, though, just to touch on that again, there is still like a weird atmosphere, isn't there? You know, when you come in contact with, not come in contact with anyone, but if you go to the shop, anything, there's a weird sort of atmosphere because of everything going on. You can tell things aren't the same.
Everyone's sort of like stepping back a little bit if you go to walk to them.
Strange. And people that would be knobheads before, you find themselves being worse. As in like, oh, keep that 2 meters.
10 quick fire questions before we let you go. So these are random as hell. I don't know if you've seen them before when done on the other cast. So ketchup or brown sauce?
Why not mayonnaise? Why would you even give
No, wait. Yeah, you've not got there.
Brown sauce. I hate ketchup.
Mayo or celery cream?
Mayo.
If you said celery cream, then. City break or beach holiday?
Say it again.
City break or beach holiday?
Beach holiday, definitely.
Xbox or PlayStation?
Don't play either, but PlayStation.
Okay. When you eat, fork in your left hand or your right hand?
Fork in right.
Prefer a shower or a bath?
Shower.
Gi or no gi?
No gi, definitely.
Win by submission or win by KO?
KO, definitely.
What we touched on before?
It depends.
Yeah.
KO. It's just more appealing, isn't it, to the average person watching?
Cool. We've spoken about it before, so a war or a quick finish?
I'd rather watch a war, but I'd rather have a quick finish.
And the final one, the infamous one, Anderson Silva or George St. Pierre?
Oh, George St. Pierre, because he's more of an athlete, and Anderson Silva seems a bit like a fat mess when he's not training.
So, before we let you go then, pal, anyone you'd like to thank, any sponsors, teammates, etc.?
No sponsors. Just my team, really. Like, Aaron, definitely, because I want to say without Aaron, I would have never got into fighting, but he was one reason why I actually wanted to get into the sport, because I remember, I should have answered this at the start, but like I said, there was loads of reasons. Going to watch him at the start of, I don't think it was the start of his career, I think it must have been like his 7th, 8th fight, and have this for coincidence, the first fight I ever went to go and watch, the first fight I went to watch Aaron watch, and I went to an event ever, was against Kieran O'Brien.
Wow.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that is very weird.
But everyone from IPC, all my teammates, Mike Morris, James Cox, Jordan Baxter, who joined the team about 3 years ago, Gareth Evans, who doesn't train anymore, he's probably a fat mess somewhere. But Julian Avey, John Avey. John Avey's a massive one as well. And Julian Avey. I'll touch on, like, Julian's someone who always did the classes Monday and Wednesdays, and just that whole family in general. Like, my life definitely wouldn't be what it is without them. And just John in general. You spoke to John, haven't you?
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah, like he's someone he's the sort of person that everyone would benefit having in their life.
A very, very intelligent guy.
Conversation, not just about becoming an athlete or him. I don't just mean that. Just in general, like, he's a very knowledgeable person, and having him in your life, you're only going to benefit.
Of course. Well, Alex, I know you've got work, so it was a bit rushed version.
Yeah, mate,
but
you got me 15 minutes late.
I know. Enjoy it. Enjoy work. But yeah, thanks for having us. Thanks for coming on. We will have you back on next time and try and get you a bit more information out of you. But enjoy work, dude, and we'll speak to you soon.
All right, thank you very much, Jake, and I'll see you soon.
See you in a bit.
Thank you very much. See ya.